Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
At midfield from Columbia University, number 11, Stepan Kapranov. At forward from FDU, number 14, Julian Ramirez. And on defense from Sacred Heart University, number 26, Tyler Shaw. The head coach of FC Monmouth is Hugh MacDonald, joined by assistant coach Evan Unger and equipment manager Charlie Shermer. And now the starting 11 for Real Central New Jersey. Starting in goal from the College of Charleston, number 1, Eric Norowski. On defense from Muhlenberg College, number 2, Chris Turnbull. At midfield from Binghamton University, number 3, Jasper Cox. At forward from Swarthmore College, number 4, Nick Muddy. Lopez. At forward from Howard University, number 9, Daniel Kabay. Also at forward from Ursinus College, 77, Nick Crippa. At midfield from Dickinson College, number 11, Rowan Harrington. Also at midfield from Rosemont College, number 10, Sean Malilly. And on defense from Southern Virginia University, 14, Jacob Nilsson. The head coach of Real Central New Jersey Soccer is Chris Corridon, joined by Ira Jersey. At this time, we ask everyone to please rise if you are able and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran clear the bombs bursting
for this afternoon's Northeast Conference South Divisional matchup in points right now, the most in the Northeast Conference. Real Central looking for that second win after they got their first
you said, they've been stacking up wins. This is definitely a tough test for Real Central, but coming off that win, it definitely helps them gain that more of their groove and control. It should be a fun one today.
FC Monmouth, based in Red Bank, New Jersey. Obviously, Real Central, and as you would guess, the central New Jersey, near Trenton. As FC Monmouth will kick things off, coached by
Yeah, good start. Good idea there from FC Monmouth, just trying to get things up the field, but a little too far out of the reach to be able to receive that to the feet.
FC Monmouth coming off a 1-1 draw against Excelsior New York back on June 6th. So still with FC Monmouth starting this match going left to right. This one will roll out of play. Will stay with FC Monmouth.
Yeah, this is a tough test for Real Central's defense, and they got to be up to the task. You got players like Davi Caputo, recent graduate at Rowan University, up top there for FC Monmouth.
David Caputo, Jake Homowitz, both the recent rowing grads, the captains for FC Monmouth, and then Shawman Manelli, who we've seen many times of Real Central, where the captain's armband. As FC Monmouth switch fields here. Played down the line. Played toward the back.
That's a good ball.
Yeah, play down the line. Here comes Caputo. Tried to cut inside as it's dealt with by Chris Turnbull, who gets a tip on it. It will go out for a corner. Our first one in the match on the far side looks like Jake Homowitz will take.
Important touch there from Chris Turnbull to get a deflection to knock that out for a corner. It looked like Caputo had him beat a little bit on that far side, able to track back. Now the first corner of the game.
Here comes the in swinger, headed out for now. There's a nice clearance to add on to it.
exciting. Get good opportunities.
Real Central has rotated with a few goalkeepers this season. Topher Kelly has played well, and Eric Dorowski, also a key contributor in net for Real Central, as things will get started back up by Reed Spiven. It's back at Spiven now. Has space to work with. He'll play it across field. Santiago Lopez back with Spiven. Spiven plays the long ball, looking to switch fields to the right wing. Harrington looking for the play, plays it down the line, but offside. The flag was up, couldn't get to it anyway. Another squander. Opportunity. Both teams testing the waters this far.
Yeah, it looks like Nicholas Grippa, the forward for Real Central, was just a little offsides on that back line, but again, a good idea, good push and pace. For in this game by both teams.
Sedloa plays it out wide. Parks. Both teams hoping to build out of the back here early on. 0-0 in the 6th minute. Again, a Northeast Conference South Divisional matchup here in the league for clubs. Now Jasper Cox has room to work with after the turnover. Millelli tries for it. A nice save made by the keeper, Graham Coyce. Not only saves it, holds it in.
Yeah, it was Graham Coyce tested first time in this game. Good shot there by Millelli, but even better hands by Coyce and made that one look easy.
Back out wide for FC Monmouth. Kapranov. Sedloa's ball. Headed out by Harrington. Again, Real Central hoping to build off that win they had last Wednesday in the league for clubs. It was their first one of the season after starting with 3 losses. Here's Viles to Caputo, now Monmouth. Monmouth looks across field. He's going to play it there. And just bounces.
Good idea there from Havowitz. Just a little too much on that, but the switch was there. Picked up his head. Had a man just a little too much on the through ball.
Yeah, that was intended for Julian Ramirez. Just couldn't get his foot on it. FC Monmouth able to keep possession though. Some tiki-taka football here in the midfield.
Oh,
here's a through ball. A nice through ball. You are absolutely right there, Max. Caputo goes down the line, plays a cross, headed out. Dealt with well by Santiago Lopez. Lopez again with another header. Grupa now. He gives it to his forward in Caban. Here's Jasper Cox. And Real Central now. Looking to create something here. Grippa. Looks like he thought Malelli would make a run. First few minutes here, Max. What have you noticed so far from these sides?
Both teams are really possessing the ball really nicely. It was kind of a slow start from Real Central in those first couple minutes, but they've definitely found their form and they've picked up the intensity. They're matching the physicality perfectly from FC Monmouth. And like you're seeing right now, they're just moving the ball really nicely. But Real Central, they've matched that as well, and I've been very pleasantly pleased with how each team is performing at such a high rate, and the work rate has been there from both teams.
Yeah, both sides still yet to produce key opportunities. One big shot from Malelli early on. Lopez. Now it's on the far side. Narowski, the keeper. Lopez leaves it for Nielsen. Real Central taking their time here, looking for that opening. Here's the long ball. Caban trying to get on the end of it. Can he get a touch? He won't be able to. The checkered flag is up once more. Another offsides, but these runs coming in hot from Real Central lately.
No, and it's only a matter of time. You know, they've been caught offsides twice so far in this first half, but they're great ideas. The run is on. They just got to watch their back line a little bit as FC Monmouth is pushed up and have a high line.
FC Monmouth now with a throw in front of Real Central's bench. They're going to need to make good use of those tents on the far side. A hot, humid day here in Mercer County Community College.
It sure is.
So much so there will that started with lots of pace and aggressiveness. It's become somewhat stagnant in some areas.
That's a great ball. That's a great way to fix that stagnant issue.
Here's Harrington. One-on-one, beats one defender. And knocking it out of play and out of danger is the defender, Tyler Shaw. So a corner upcoming for Real Central, their first of the match.
Great job there by Harrington. Took a touch, extra touch to his right, took a deflection off of Shaw in the build-up and out for a well-deserved corner. And this is better from Real Central, kind of picking up that intensity and pace, trying to create opportunities, and they have one right here.
Looks like Spivin will be the one to take. The left footer. Here comes the in-swinger. Goes near post, headed out. Patrick Shaw plays it across field. Contesting it is Nielsen, and charging on the right wing is Capra. So we'll go out for a throw.
Great hustle by Nielsen to be able to get a touch off of that and make a really strong tackle. Even though it's out for an FC Monmouth for a really good individual play. Things difficult on Kapranoff.
Shaw out wide to Ramirez. Caputo charges centrally. Kapranoff has space. Goes right. Aviles shot to the right side. And just out of harm's way for Eric Narowski. Goal kick upcoming for Real Central.
Yeah, that was a good opportunity. Reveal is maybe if he took an extra touch to cut inside, he would have had a better look at net, but a good opportunity, and FC Monmouth right there on the doorstep. And close to being on target and making making Narowski work in goal.
'20th minute. Still a 0-0 match here. Nicholas Grippa down the left wing. Parks defending. Grippa. Rollover. Cuts inside. Drives it toward the middle. And it's cleared out by FC Monmouth for now. Spivin comes in to keep possession. But the pass from Malelli just out of his reach. Now Caputo turns. Breaks out of a sea of red.
And going back to that play by Grippa, really good idea. Just unfortunate for for Central. Nobody in the area.
Another switch of fields. Back with Aviles. Plays it right. Halt. second. I was hoping for the cross to make its way through. Grayson Parks tried to go down the line, and it ends up off his foot. A great contest from Nicholas Grippa.
For Real Central, they've just been swarming defensively right now, and they have to match FC Monmouth's intensity and press. Have to have a red jersey in the surrounding area every second they get. Ooh.
And here comes Patrick Shaw. He's in on goal.
Trying to push and get some opportunities in their final third.
Ramirez seeing lots of pressure. Now it's out wide for Grayson Parks. Down the line. Lenny Aviles. Aviles plays it across middle. Here's the pass now. Tinoco falls over at the 18. Now Patrick Shaw through ball to Caputo. And before Caputo came in, have a try at net. He is offsides. But another dangerous opportunity for FC Monmouth, connecting on a multitude of passes.
They just move the ball so nicely from side to side, just three passes in that build-up. Just really nice footwork and movement to create that chance for Caputo. But the flag was up, so even if that was in the back of the net, that one would have counted. But they're definitely on the doorstep, and it is coming as they have increased the amount of chances that they've had in these last few minutes leading up into that hydration break.
I'll also say it's been consistent on both ends as well. You're seeing the offsides. You're seeing how these assistant referees have called this match thus far in terms of watching the lines, and they've sent a message. You got to be able to make the right run at the right time to be onside.
Yeah, both teams are playing a little bit of a high line too, especially Real Central.
Aviles, too big of a touch there, back with Real Central. Malelli. Lopez again. Taking some space. Grippa. Played it back, but now FC Monmouth takes over. Parks tried the turn, and now Nielsen. Real Central might have an opportunity here. Nielsen with some space. His pass deflected. Still at the 18 and cleared out. Aloha. Caputo gets past the defender, but took down Chris Turnbull to get or to start pacing down the pitch there.
That's a tough one because Caputo was off and running if that foul is not called, and those are tough. You know, those 50-50 plays in midfield where the defender in Turnbull just kind of gets caught up with Caputo. A little too much for the referee's liking, but, you know, if you're Caputo, you can't really be too mad about that.
Grippa turns. Plays it for Mileli. Real Central playing through the air. Just can't bring it down, and the pass offline to Harrington.
It goes to kind of the point we were talking about Gerasimo's, where for Real Central, this is kind of a game where you need to control the ball and match the possession battle, because if you don't, it's going to be a long afternoon with how strong FC Monmouth's attack is.
Tinoco can't advance. Svibin, a missed touch there, and it's back with FC Monmouth. Caputo, heavy pressure on the back from Mileli. Aviles plays it. It was for Kapranov, just couldn't get on the end of it. But a nice, nifty idea, and now FC Monmouth, and they're attacking third. They're going to try to get another opportunity off.
And a really good read by Santiago Lopez defensively to be able to get to that first and deflect it at bounce for Real Central.
The defense of Real Central has definitely showed, considering the amount of time FC Monmouth has had the ball. Aviles out wide. Takes on Nielsen, cross down the middle. Off of Lopez, the shot goes and curls wide. Kapranov, the one who had eyes towards net, just couldn't find the frame.
A deflection originally by Lopez. Kapranov got a good look, and he wasn't that far from hitting that one. Put a little too much underneath it, but really good opportunity once again, where there's been a lot there for the taking for FC Monmouth.
We've passed the half-hour mark here at Mercer County Community College. This play is played back to Graham Coyce. The long ball, Nielsen with a header. Cox chasing after it, but taken by Patrick Shaw. Caputo and Hamowitz. Out wide, Ramirez. Ramirez to Caputo. Now Hamowitz up the middle. A contested pass, but it finds its way back to the left wing. Ramirez. Caputo looking for options, plays it for Hamowitz. Hamowitz, a nice flick backward. Caputo has a try! Just over the crossbar, but an ambitious shot, and one worth taking if you're Caputo and company.
Yeah, he took that extra touch and then fired it outside of the 18. Well, pretty outside, but well struck by Caputo. Not too far off of net, and let that ride. You've had a lot of opportunities. The chances have been there. The goals are definitely coming for FC Monmouth, and that was a good opportunity there. And can't be too mad about that one, taking that from distance.
Shaken up is Reed Spivin. And he's been active today, and someone you probably don't want to lose early on if you're Chris Cordon, Ira Jersey, the two coaches for Real Central. It looks like Spivin might be heading toward the exits at midfield.
It's going to be a substitution.
And supposedly Zach Perone will be the one to enter.
Yeah, Zach Perone, the midfielder, replacing Simon here.
From Flemington, New Jersey, so Perone will take the reins in the back for Reed Spivin. And unfortunate considering Spivin had been very active, making some decent plays for Real Central. Just a little shaken up, and you don't want to risk it.
Yeah, no, you definitely, with Simon definitely nursing that injury. Walking pretty gingerly off the field. Definitely don't want to take that risk, especially in this humid weather.
Narowski sends it away. An opportunity now on the right wing. Harrington with some pace, plays it across for Gribba. It gets past Gribba. Cox plays it back toward the middle. Come on! Oh, it just misses. What an opportunity that was for Real Central.
Yeah. It slipped past grip, but then it was left to move on. I mean, you're not gonna ask, you're not going to get a better opportunity than that, Gerasimos, and can't ask for a better setup. If you're combining, you gotta put that in the back end net. Really good opportunity, but hey, that's a great look. You can build on that momentum, and the positives are building for Real Central. It's just, man, they were inches away from having that 1-0 lead.
And so much happened in such little time on that possession. Here's a through ball. Caputo trying to get on the end of it. Lopez, though, is there, and he's been there all day long thus far.
He's had a really strong game, and to get there first and win that 50-50 ball and win the initial header was huge.
Kapranoff. Guavilas. Now Tyler Shaw. Hamowitz on the far side. Tinoco. Now Kapranoff to Avilas. Another play in the development for FC Monmouth. Avilas makes its defender fall shot toward the far post. And he got a glove to it as Eric Norowski.
Oh, man. I mean, Norowski just got a fingertip on that. I don't know how he got a piece on that, to be honest. It might have been going wide. He might have had it covered. He did have it covered on that near post, but a good fingertip just for safety. But what a shot by Avilas.
And Hamowitz will now take this corner for FC Monmouth. Plays it short to Kapranoff. Back to Hamowitz. Here's the cross. Takes the deflection toward the far post. And It's going to be knocked out of harm's way by Sean Mullally, the captain for Real Central.
Yeah, this has been a really good last couple minutes by both sides. Both sides are having a fair share of chances. Probably FC Monmouth having a couple more than Real Central, but the intensity's picking up, and this is a good sign of things to come with about 10 minutes left in this first half plus stoppage time.
This is absolutely what you want to see in the league for clubs, especially in a Northeast Conference South Division matchup. But this call in favor of Real Central. We are under 10 minutes away from the 45th minute, and that also means possible stoppage time to add on to that.
Yeah, they usually pretty much 2 minutes guaranteed at least from the hydration break.
And probably the injury as well from Reed Spivak. And speaking of that, here's the substitute, Zach Perrone. Cox able to recover. Back with Perrone. Played out wide. Harrington cut inside. It's back with Jasper Cox. Now Real Central being the patient ones here.
That's a good thing, too. Just kind of get your shape back. They've been on their heels. Last few minutes, and this is a good opportunity here.
And Caban with a nice ball outside. It ends up going for a cross. Caban the header. And diving to his right, Graham Coyce. He's been ready.
That was a great through ball. Caban just didn't get enough underneath it. Just need a little more on that header, but a really good look. Coyce had that well covered with the comfortable save. Hasn't had to do awfully too much in this game.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Against FC Monmouth in this League for Clubs matchup within the Northeast Conference South Division. Drosmus Travaslio alongside Max Fountain, and we saw quite the first half of FC Monmouth with the goal at the tail end of that first half, thanks to Patrick Shaw. But Real Central, they've shown as well they can also have some really decent opportunities, and they're going to need some more if they want to knock this game up and maybe find their equalizer.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun and entertaining half, like we mentioned. Really good stuff for both teams. They really got it in bunches. It came in different mixes. They matched it with the intensity and then creativity. For Real Central, they really could have a goal in this game or two. They had a couple really good opportunities in front of net. Credit to Graham Coyce holding his own in net for FC Monmouth. Did a fantastic job keeping this thing at 1-0 in favor of FC Monmouth.
And we are underway in half number 2. Real Central will start things off here in the second half. The long ball toward the wing. Falls with Tinoco of FC Monmouth. Forces a deflection off of Sean Mullally. No substitutions have come on for either side at the half. The lone substitution being Zach Perrone, who came in for the injured Reed Spiven of Real Central.
Yeah, hopefully Simon's okay. He looked like nursing a little bit of injury and obviously couldn't continue in this game. No reason to risk it in this heat.
Sadloha. Now with Shaw. Ramirez. Able to chip it through defenders, and now Tinoco. Tinoco trying to go forward. Turnbull a little too physical on that occasion, but enough to stop the action for FC Monmouth, who will try to continue it, but they'll be halted once more. So free kick upcoming.
Kind of an observation. that I've noticed this referee does not like to let things play quick. He likes it on his own terms and his own whistle, and some officials are like that. FC Monmouth didn't like that.
And it's a good mention, Max, especially with the way they've also called offsides here at times. It's kind of have to adjust to
Yeah.
what the officials allow and what's within the rules. Here's a long ball to the far side. Aviles has to play it back for Siloha. Coist with pressure coming. Plays it for Tyler Shaw.
Good job there by Coist to pick up his head, switch the field. He felt the pressure coming on and then adjusted and switched it to the other side of the field.
Here's a nice through ball for Caputo on the left wing. Caputo has one option in the middle, hoping for more to come. Plays to the far post. And Aviles unable to get there in time, but looks like FC Monmouth will have another try at it on the throw-in.
That was a great through ball setting up Caputo. I think for Caputo there, he probably should have went with the shot. And nobody was in the surrounding area. There for a cross, and I think everybody on FC Monmouth thought the same thing too. He was gonna fire that one away.
Tinoco pulls it back, plays it for Ramirez. Out wide back to Tinoco. Tinoco looking to play this one in to the far post. And it looks like it was just over the head of Patrick Shaw.
Yeah, just a little too much on that, and Shaw wanted it, and he asked for it, just couldn't get there to it exactly.
Now goal kick coming for Eric Norowski, who has fared quite well today despite giving up the lone goal of today's match so far. Patrick Shaw, the one who scored that goal.
He had that really impressive save where he got that fingertip to it to keep it covered.
Yeah, there could easily be more than one goal scored in this match so far. That's how tight it's been. But here's a nice turnover, a nice takeaway from Harrington. Harrington takes a tumble, and it looks like we'll have our first yellow card of the match upcoming.
Yeah, and that's the correct call.
And it looks like Ramirez will enter the books first of all the participants in today's match. And this is quite the chance for Real
definitely do, and they set up that chance beautifully. Taking that extra touch, it was a great setup, and they were on goal, and that's why the yellow card was shown, denying a potential scoring opportunity.
Deliberating right now, it looks to be Sean Mullally, Rowan Harrington. Maybe a possible third around the ball. Jasper Cox is also there. Lots of decisions to make with the placement of the wall, and Graham Coyce, he's been ready all day. We'll see if he's prepared for what's to come here. Daniil Caban also around the ball. Caban strikes and hits the wall.
Yeah, the Caban had a pretty good look at that one. Just that wall standing strong. Oh, wow, great touch.
A great touch indeed. Come on, plays it across. And it's headed out. Chasing forward is Harrington. Lopez. Saloha. Trying to defend. Harrington crosses it in. Just over the head of Caban. And Caban can be an aerial threat.
Yeah, Caban's got some size inside there, and that one just out of his reach, but he's had a couple opportunities here at net, just nothing to show out of it.
And here's the clearance from FC Monmouth, but back with Jasper Cox in Real Central. Lopez to Matisse. Cox try to play it again for Perone. It's knocked out of play for another throw. Real Central.
And Drosmos, this is a really good start out of the halftime break from Real Central. They're pressing really high right now, making things difficult for FC Monmouth to be able to possess the ball. And they're working at such a high work rate, and they've had their fair share of opportunities. They just haven't been able to connect on that final touch, able to have a chance at goal.
Again, Real Central, 1 win, 3 losses in the league for clubs. Their 1 win coming in their previous match against Kensington SC here at home.
And
It's actually their 4th home match in 5 league for clubs games.
And this is a big one too, because for FC Monmouth, they're first in the division, and this is, a huge momentum builder after coming off that win. So to continue that against a really strong opponent in FC Monmouth would go a long way.
Yeah, they're 9 points in the division, tied for first, and they're 13 points in the NorthEast Conference is the most. So they have definitely shown their worth in this competition. And they've shown their worth today as well with the 1-0 lead. entering the second half. Sam Tinoco. Zach Perone was showing some pressure there. As this ball takes a deflection. And FC Monmouth will take it once more.
Yeah, and for Sam Tinoco, he was fouled on the initial play. It looked like there was a little extra shove there, but they get the ball back anyways with the throw.
Patrick Shaw tried the flick. Almost like a scorpion kick there. Now Harrington. Real Central unable to advance for the time being. Nielsen chases after it, plays it back for Santiago Lopez. Now Nick Batiste for Chris Turnbull. Turnbull down the line. Was looking for Perone, just couldn't find him. Tinoco was looking for the 1-2. Caputo opts to play it back. Here's a long ball down the right wing, chasing after it. Aviles. Aviles might have a chance, just couldn't find the touch. Still out wide. Aviles. Across the middle, Saloha. Plays it back, Ramirez. Ramirez. Fighting off some pressure. Chips it in for Caputo. Caputo a touch. Caputo! Blocked by Lopez, who charges in to get in front.
And that was a really good flick over the top from Ramirez, finding Caputo, and Caputo's inches away. He could have at least 2 goals in this game. He has been everywhere for FC Monmouth, and a really good deflection there by Lopez, who has been a monster there defensively all over the field for Real Central.
And as he has done all day long, Jake Homowitz will be the taker from the corner flag. The in-swinger gets over a few heads, being knocked around, finally cleared out. Saloha plays it out wide. That one took a rough spin off his foot, but it's still with Aviles. Aviles going on Malelli, crosses it in, headed out, and officially cleared by Harrington. Homowitz uses his pace to keep possession. Grayson Parks. And now Coyce will reset for FC Monmouth. Still 1-0 game. The goal for Patrick Shaw scored in the 45th minute of the first half. Right now we're in the 55th. Still lots of time, and maybe we kind of talked about the half, Max. I mean, we're kind of shocked that there has not been more goals scored, and there probably will be some more.
Oh, completely. This game could easily be very different score in this one, and for was played, they got to be a little disappointed they are down in this one, as they've had a lot of chances, especially towards the end tail of that first half.
Hamlet feints one way, goes the other. Here's a long ball. Looking for Shaw, or excuse me, it's Saloa. The volley attempt saved by Eric Norowski.
Man, that was a good chance for Oha. He had a good opportunity out of it, just couldn't get enough underneath it on the shot.
Sedloha has been all over the pitch today, Max, defending, attacking, and that was a nice run from him. A near
Sure was.
goal-scoring opportunity. Now Tinoco being tugged by the jersey, and it looks like we weren't the only ones to see it. A yellow card incoming for Nick Batiste.
Yeah, probably the most obvious yellow card you're going to see. One of them, the common jersey tug when you get beat. And that's exactly what happened there. And it's very common. You get frustrated, lose your footwork and composure, and you get beat. Simple as that, Terasmos. And the right call by the head official, and now a chance for Real Central to create something off of this free kick.
And sometimes considering the situation, Tinoco was probably going to have a lot of green grass ahead. Maybe you sacrifice and halt him, pull him back with the tug of the jersey. Even though you probably know a foul's coming.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
still, slow things down. Homowitz takes another set piece, curls it in, takes a nice little shot inside the 18. It'll go out for another goal kick.
Yeah, and going back to that point, Terasmos, and for it kind of adds up for SC Monmouth. They didn't score on that one, but sometimes that's not a bad foul to take, because you stop that scoring opportunity. But got to be careful because now you're on a yellow card.
Absolutely, and it looks like Tyler Shaw is the one who managed to get a touch onto that, but just wide of the net. Melody with a nice backwards header. Caban being tugged on, and
That might be a yellow card.
the head official looks like he'll award the free kick. Not enough for a card, it seems.
Yeah.
We've had 2 bookings so far today. Obviously, the recent one for Nick Batiste.
Looked like the way the ref was going in his back pocket.
And Julian Ramirez, the other yellow card. He's the one that got a nice header there for FC Monmouth. Ramirez directing traffic, playing a long ball down the line. He's looking for Patrick Shaw, the goal scorer. Just couldn't flick it over to Caputo. Batiste as well.
With Caputo and Shaw, they're essentially essentially trying to do the same thing there. Just, it didn't work out in the end.
Matisse. Back to Dorowski. Again, only one substitution so far in this match. We'll see if more come later on. Perone out wide. Played it across, just couldn't find a man. It was Grippa. And now here comes Caputo. Caputo going one-on-one, but it won't matter. Looks like we have an offsides. And maybe some complaints coming considering Caputo took the shot.
Caputo's got to be careful there. I'm not surprised there are complaints. That's a little a delay of the game, and after the whistle was blown for offsides, Caputo put it in the back net, and that was a really good run by Caputo. It was going to be a foot race to that one between Caputo and the defender, but it wouldn't have ultimately mattered with the offside flag up.
Now Turnbull. Thought about going down the line, he'll play it backward. In the midfield is Real Central. Borowski to Matisse. Lots of space to work with if you're Matisse. Turnbull. Some quick passes made by Real Central. Harrington making decisions. Ops. To play it for Matisse in the back. Matisse long ball. Was looking for Grippa just over his head. A decent idea here in the 61st minute. Still got a half hour to go to see if Real Central can maybe get a goal on the board or if FC Monmouth can find that cushion.
Yeah, definitely still a lot of time left. 30 minutes and some change, roughly. And, we've seen pushes from both teams. Now's the time for Real Central to start. You're kind of right about here. You got to pick it up a little bit to kind of match the overall intensity. And again, it's a 1-0 game. It's there for anyone's taking.
Tyler Shaw tried to play the through ball. Harrington interrupted it. And then Tinoco with a nice slide. And he now has possession for FC Monmouth. Here's a through ball. Curls into Patrick Scholl. The header, though, by Santiago Lopez. A big one.
I mean, Lopez is everywhere. Whether it's kind of as a fullback, as a center back, he has just been everywhere on the field defensively for this Real Central side, and a big catalyst and a big reason why
Caputo turns on Matisse. Out wide now. Sidloha. Now Aviles. Lenny Aviles plays it across goal. Still in the danger zone. And Malali clears it out, but not by much. FC Monmouth recycles. Another ball played down the right wing. And Nielsen will play it out wide, but looks like we have a player down in the midfield.
I think Tinoco, who thought Shaw was going to be right there on that previous play, and left it off for him, but Shaw didn't see it coming.
We've mentioned numerous times the hot, humid conditions we are dealing with and some possible cramps. Sean Mullally, the one dealing with some tightness, it seems, in his, I would assume, his calf.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be a hydration break, turning into a hydration break.
It wouldn't be a bad time. Well, we'll see if there's any subs coming in for Real Central. We have received word that FC Monmouth are looking to make some changes.
A good time to get some subs in and some fresh legs, especially for FC Monmouth. I would assume for Real Central, New Jersey, they're coming soon as well. Just as this game hits on, you got need some newer faces. Try and create something different to try and get that equalizer.
Mullally trying to give a feel for his calf. Looks like he's still limping, but it looks like this is a hydration break. Obviously a good sign to see Mullally back on his feet.
Yeah, he's had a really strong game for Real Central. Kind of limping off a little bit right now. I would assume this was the hydration break.
And from our knowledge, looks like they'll save the hydration break for later. It's just a little intermission considering the injury.
We'll definitely add some minutes on to that stoppage time later in this game.
Absolutely, and here come the subs. And a flurry of them for FC Monmouth.
For FC Monmouth in the 65th minute. Entering the pitch, number 16, Dylan Carlson. And number 18, Josh Giroux. Replacing number 8, David Caputo, and number 11, Stepan Kapranov.
So Caputo and Kapranov make way for the bench. And entering is Josh Jerome and Dylan Carlson.
And a really good game from both of those players, especially Caputo. Caputo had a flurry of chances in front of net, just nothing to show for it on the score sheet, but a really strong effort from the recent rowing graduate, and really strong performance overall from from both of those players. And now they'll get some fresh faces in Dylan Carlson and Josh Jerome.
I'll say Real Central also making a change. Brian Sanchez into the match, and Sean Mullally will be the one who exits. Another injury for Real Central. Hopefully not a long-term type of occurrence. The captain's armband now with Daniil Caban.
For FC Monmouth, number 28, Aiden Dinsky. In for number 2, Grayson Parks.
And it looks like Grayson Parks also exited this match. It's about that time of the match where both teams going for fresh legs.
A substitution for Real
Ramirez.
Jersey in the 66th minute. Now on the field, number 16,
Out wide.
Brian Sanchez. In for number 10, Sean Mullally.
Also looks like Ryan Klodanic has entered the match for
And that is a really wasted one, as that could have not been set up more perfectly by Shaw, finding his teammate. Just a really missed opportunity there.
Anthony Perez, the one who entered for FC Monmouth right before that opportunity. And he is going to play it down the line here, just rolls over the touchline. Might still be in. He's riding a tight rope. But it finally goes over the goal line for a goal kick. Everyone had assumed it went out of play.
Yeah, that ball somehow stayed in on that line and now eventually went out for a goal kick.
This goal kick lost some steam. Chuisaka plays it for Nielsen. And Real Central on the counter. Caban plays it across. Harrington is there. Just couldn't find room to get to it. Eddie Chuisaka to Harrington. Rowan Harrington plays it back for Matisse. Across the middle. Perone trying to get a shot off. It looks like Dylan Carlson intervened.
Yeah, a really good tackle there from Carlson. And now FC Monmouth
Oh my
pushes.
goodness, look at this pace from Anevsky. Anevsky plays it across the middle, just couldn't find Koldanik.
Yeah, that was a good idea by Ineski, but probably should have taken that touch a little farther outside, then curl it in or go for the shot.
Real Central back. These teams going from box to box. Caban plays it across, finds Rowan Harrington, cuts inside Harrington! Real Central has their equalizer! They tie it up 1-1.
And Gerasimo's, the story of this game was going to be if these missed opportunities would come back to haunt them. Well, they didn't. They find the equalizer, a beaut of a finish from Harrington. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better finish. A little of a side volley there, as we saw on the goal. I mean, just a perfect finish. But there is still a lot of time left in this game for FC Monmouth to respond. But I mean, what a goal. No chance for Coyce on that one.
And just like that, in the 85th minute, this is a tie. This is a tied up match. Picture perfect placement from Harrington to find that bottom right corner. And he finds that long awaited equalizer. It was about time Real Central was going to find theirs.
New Jersey, goal!
And a chance now on the other end, but offsides is Patrick Shaw. Can't help but mention the big crowd on hand here at Mercer County Community College. A lot of more happy fans now with this game all knotted up and still some time left. Connor Campbell plays it back. In comes the cross. Real Central with momentum. They're trying to use it. Perez Jr. couldn't advance as now a yellow card given out to Eddie Chuisaka.
Yeah, and that's kind of a foul you can't afford to give too, and it's just one that doesn't really need to happen for Real Central. But going back to your point, right on cue with what I was going to say, it's a huge momentum swing of things because now you have the equalizer, and now inside the 86th minute plus that stoppage time, you can try and have an opportunity to take the lead here if you're Real Central.
Dylan Carlson for Tinoco. There's only a select few players left on the pitch that have played the full match. Tinoco's one of them. And this header from Nadanevsky out of play. Still time for both sides to find the game winner. Still, I think a point definitely worth more for Real Central, considering they still have some games left to play. I think for FC Monmouth, you want to stay atop the table. You need to find that second goal somehow.
That would be a phenomenal result for Real Central if they're able to come away with a point here against the league leaders in FC Monmouth.
Perez plays it for Shaw. Patrick Shaw takes a tumble, and it's enough to award the penalty. Catastrophe for Real Central, and FC Monmouth has a chance to take the lead.
That just cannot happen for Real Central. I mean, they just got the game equalizer, and now they give up a penalty in their box, and it's completely the correct call by the official here as the player got tripped up in the box, and that's a tough one.
Caban, the captain, tried to talk the official out of the call. Unfortunately, unsuccessful there, and the one to take it is absolutely going to be Patrick Shaw, who scored the first goal of the match, the first goal for FC Monmouth in the 45th minute of the first half. He has a chance to put his squad back in front. Patrick Shaw steps toward it, saved by Nurowski. Oh man, a poor penalty taken, and taking advantage of it is Eric Nurowski, a huge save.
Definitely a poor penalty taken, but Nurowski still went right side, read that perfectly, and still good hands to keep that from potentially bobbling it and allowing it to be a live play. Really good hands by the goalkeeper.
Probably the last thing we expected, considering the quality Patrick Shaw has shown in this match.
It's been a wild one. There's been a lot of unexpected in this game.
Sanchez loses it there. And now Inevsky, who has shown his pace, still going, but too much physical contact on Matisse. Nick Matisse shaken up as Enrique Perez Jr. will help stretch out his leg. Again, more cramps.
I'm a little surprised the referee actually called that one, Gerasimus, with, you know, this late in the game and the physicality we've seen. But we have seen that the referee has kept it pretty consistent. He's been calling every foul that he sees. So from that standpoint, not too surprising.
We're now nearing the 90th minute, and from our knowledge, 3 minutes of added time is what will transpire once we reach our 90th minute. Still some time, minimal amount of time for either side to find a possible game winner, but what a moment it will be if someone can find it. The through ball, unsuccessful from Perone.
That was probably going to be offsides, Gerasimus, if that got through.
It was definitely a run that was going to be close, that's for sure. Some heavy pressure from Perone. Jerome plays it through defenders. And Ramirez, a miscommunication with Kaldanik. Now a long ball. Brought down by Shaw. And here's the deflection.
Your attention, please.
Kaldanik to Shaw. Shaw plays it up the middle. Here's an opportunity. Josh Jerome has a chance. Cuts inside, down the line. And corralling it is Eric Narowski. What a second half he has had.
Yeah, and that extra touch from Jerome in the end was probably the difference maker. And that one, why he didn't have a clean look at net. And you could see the frustration and the body language on Jerome, frustrated with himself, that he probably should have done better with that one.
Flicked back by Kaldanik. Now Lopez. Tried to find Caban on that left wing. And Caban has been a player awaiting to erupt. And here he is again. Heads it forward. Tripped up on the left wing, and there's a call made. A free kick in a dangerous position to maybe give Real Central an opportunity in front of net. In front of net.
Yeah, definitely a foul. Caban did a good job of, creating that foul and kind of impeding it, but he drew that foul perfectly, and now Real Central has a chance to get take the lead here off the set piece.
We are within 3 minutes of stoppage time, and Eddie Chuisaka is going to send this one into the box. A sea of red, a sea of navy blue. But who will get a touch onto this one? Chuisaka sends it in low. Santiago Lopez there at the near post. They're pleading for a deflection. They're not going to get it. Goal kick.
I think too close for the referee's liking. It was kind of bang between the defender and Real Central in attack, and that one was close. Could have really gone either way.
Coyce plays it quickly. Julian Ramirez through the middle. Kaldanik to Shaw. Shaw charging forward, still going. Keeps his balance, the shot attempt. A big deflection by Nick Matisse. Rolls over the touchline, and we will have to stop things as two players from each team down in the box. One of them Shaw, and looks like Shaw's okay. The one now of concern being Nick Matisse.
Yeah, it looks like Matisse got the worst of it on that tackle. Hopefully he's okay. Can't be too much time left in this one.
You got to wonder if the officials decide to maybe tack on one more, considering the length possibility of this
It'll definitely
injury
be
break.
A conversation.
Matisse is back on his feet. I mean, not much time left. You got to think maybe he might be able to finish this game out, but it looks like we do have a player suiting up at midfield. And it looks like Evan Homily is going to be the one entering for Nick Matisse. So that will probably be our final substitution in the match, considering the stage we are, the stage we're at.
I would think so. But we've seen a lot of unthinkables in this match, and can't really predict the outcome. We've kind of seen it all.
We've also seen numerous Real Central players go down, and hopefully they are all okay. Again, humid, hot conditions probably playing a part in the cramping we're seeing. Josh Jerome now, as FC Monmouth still want that game winner. Cross attempt blocked by Nielsen. Tanoka was trying to play it in. Still a 1-1 match for FC Monmouth. This could be their second consecutive 1-1 draw.
Yeah, kind of a final push right now. It's going to be out of play for a goal kick.
And that ball barely goes over the goal line. And out for a goal kick. And Real Central, if they want the final say, they're going to have to really get this ball upfield and quickly.
Yeah, they got to go quick. This is going to kind of be their final push of action, as can't be too much time on the ref's clock. But they got to go in a hurry, and they've had a lot of opportunities in this game.
Narowski sends it away. FC Monmouth takes it back. Now Lopez, Santiago Lopez with a high shooting volley. Throw in now up. Coming in front of right at midfield. Lopez charges in there. Take it back. He's really upset considering he did all that hustle for nothing.
I think all sides.
I would have to assume, considering the amount of deliberation going on with the assistant referee at the far side.
Yeah, I think the referee is saying he came from an offsides position. Pretty sure that's the signal he was giving on the call.
And Narowski's going to move it closer to the touchline. You got to wonder if this could possibly be the final kick. And it will. That will do it for this Northeast Conference South Divisional matchup in the league for clubs. Real Central, though, they finally equalizer to win them the points. FC Monmouth opened the scoring, but Real Central they found the equalizer. They made a big penalty save as well down the stretch.
Yeah, both teams fought really hard. It was a well-fought draw between both sides. Both teams had their fair share of chances. I mean, you could have asked for a lot of better opportunities, especially FC Monmouth towards the end of the game. I mean, what a goal from Rowan Harrington. I mean, just couldn't have asked for a better finisher. Got the equalizer. Huge point for both. Especially more so for Real Central being down 1-0 in this game. But a great game, great performance, and can't really say much besides that. Both teams fought
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.
Brought to you by Praxis Sports, the unified platform helping sports organizations manage communication, scheduling, and operations in one place. Learn more at praxisports.com.
There's a leisurely lunch with friends. And then there's a 7-course gourmet tasting lunch with 7 perfect wine pairings aboard a fully restored 1915 Pullman rail car as it floats past rolling hills and rows of vines stretching out as far as the eye can see. Napa Valley. Live a little, or a lot.